Hello, everybody. My name is Angelo Gargaro, and I am the Director of Student Conduct at Point Park University in the Office of Student Affairs. Anytime I do one of these webinars, I like to start off by saying that nobody is in trouble. I am just here to moderate and facilitate this webinar. And joining me here on the panel, we have two members of the Center for Student Success. We have Judy Chanyi and Tony Grenek. I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit more here in a second. But first, I just want to kind of give an overview of what this webinar is going to look like. I'm going to introduce what the Center for Student Success is, just very briefly what they do, and then we'll formally introduce you to Judy and Tony. And then after the informational session, we're going to open this up to just a very informal Q&A where you can ask us any questions that you have about your schedule, advising, adding minors, changing majors, internships, whatever is on your mind. We are here to answer those questions. When it does get to the Q&A portion, any of your questions that you submit will be sent in privately, so we will not disclose who's asking the question. We just want to share these questions with everybody so that we can all learn from the answers and just help you feel more excited and more comfortable as you get ready to join the Point Park community this coming fall. So again, my name is Angelo, and I'm here to moderate this webinar. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Now, the Center for Student Success is run by Molly McClellan, who's the Assistant Vice President of Academic Affairs. You will meet Molly at Pioneer Experience coming up in August, and you will obviously see her around campus. I used to work in the Center for Student Success, advising a lot of the programs in the School of Business. And it's really awesome to be here with members from the Center for Student Success to moderate this webinar. So the Center for Student Success is really your go-to place on campus for basically everything. I mean, one of the best things that we call it CSS for short. So Center for Student Success, CSS. One of the best things about this center is you can go to them with any kind of question about the university, and they will get you to the right people, to the right department. That is a massive portion of what they do, is being a bridge to the other portions of the university. But they also handle a lot of things in-house, from scheduling to changes of majors, to transfer of credit, to degree progress reviews, and really everything in between. So today, this is focused on the School of Business, which houses a lot of really amazing programs, one of them being Sports Art Entertainment Management, which is the program that Judy oversees. And then if I'm correct, guys, Tony basically takes everything else in the School of Business, from accounting, marketing, to computer science, business management, organizational leadership, finance, economics. I'm just going off of memory here. So they cover a lot of ground, but these two people will be massive supports and resources for you as you start and continue through with us here at Point Park. So with me dropping the mic here a little bit and passing it off, Judy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and reiterate kind of the programs that you look at and what your role is.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here. It's so nice to meet you all, even though I can't see you. My name is Judy Chanyi, and I have been at the university for 35 years. So it is a really, really nice place. Okay, that being said, I advise the Sports Art and Entertainment Management major. It's a wonderful major. You have some really great faculty in that major. So that being said, Angelo is right. As far as what we can do, if we don't know the answer, if we don't have the answer, then we can certainly help you find out who does. So that's what we're here to do. Is we're here to help you get through your degree in a timely fashion, because college is expensive, and so we know everybody wants to get through promptly. So okay, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. Tony, go for it.
Hi, everybody. My name's Tony Grenek, and like Angelo said earlier, I am the student success coordinator for everything else business, from economics, marketing and sales, applied computer science, organizational leadership, business administration, business management. And as Judy said, we are that gap person that, we want to make sure that you are scheduling correctly, staying up to date with everything, and to get you out of here as soon as possible without any difficulties. The one thing that I would like to say to all of my students is I want to meet you face to face, even if it's 10 minutes, once, twice per semester. I love to get to know people, and it helps me as well guide you along in meeting you face to face, where we can go over things in that nature. So we're excited for you all to attend Point Park, and we will be there for you in any way possible.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. And as Judy and Tony were talking, it sparked, it reminded me to mention to everybody some other areas that the Center for Student Success really can be supportive in. So beyond there being a student success coordinator for basically every major, really, there's also other support services that the Center for Student Success provides to the campus community. So they're all pretty important. One of the biggest ones is the Tutoring Center. So there's Michael Elko, who's the director of the Tutoring Center. He oversees both professional and student, like peer tutors, and they can cover an array of different subjects, and they're always growing. So if there's a subject that maybe you're interested in getting tutoring in, some assistance in, and the center doesn't currently have an individual, they will go and find somebody, whether it's a student or a faculty member or a professional individual, to come and help you. It's an amazing resource. I worked very closely with Michael during my time as a student success coordinator. They're located on the 5th floor of West Penn, which is exactly where the Center for Student Success is as well. Within the Tutoring Center, there's also 2 other resources besides tutoring. You can work with the Writing Center. So that's obvious with different like English papers, but even outside of English classes, you're going to be writing a lot, typing a lot. And diving even deeper, this is something that I feel a lot of students don't always capitalize on, is as you're starting to go through your education and looking for internships, co-ops, jobs as you are about to graduate, the Writing Center can also look at resumes and cover letters and really help you just tweak it. Sometimes having a second set of eyes looking at things can help you rebrand, remarket, or kind of narrow your focus in on the things that are really important. So Tutoring and Writing Center is amazing. They also offer what's known as academic coaching. It's kind of like tutoring, but more in the capacity of like daily life things as a college student, from organizing your schedule to holding yourself accountable, ensuring that you're eating and sleeping and dedicating time to be with your family and your friends, because you have to find balance in life. While you're in college, in your career, you have to have balance to have the harmony, the peace and love. So Tutoring Center is a good place to be. In addition to that, the Center for Student Success houses accessibility services. The director of that department is Cole Eskridge, and this is where you're going to go if you need to submit any documentation for medical needs, whether it's mental health concerns, physical concerns, or adversities that you face. Working with Cole will help you get things into the system if you are looking to get accommodations for classes, interacting with faculty members to ensure that they are complying with all of that. And, different accessibility needs, they're not always long-term. You could break an ankle and be in a wheelchair or on crutches for a few weeks. That would be a good time to reach out to Cole and Accessibility Services. Maybe you need somebody to help carry your books or backpack with you to class. Maybe you break a wrist and you can't take notes and you need a note taker. There's a myriad of reasons why working with Cole and Accessibility Services could be beneficial. So keep that on your radar. They are also located on the 5th floor of West Penn. And then the last area of CSS.
Can I jump in here, Angelo? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to to step on you here, but I also wanted to point out that if you had some kind of an accommodation in high school and you want, that same kind of accommodation in college, the sooner the better. You want to get your paperwork in. Get the paperwork in, get approved, get all your ducks in a row. Then if you decide that maybe you don't want to take advantage of it, you're going to try to go without, then that's fine. But you don't want to be halfway through, you're at midterms, you're kind of drowning, and now it's a little bit hard to backtrack. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I appreciate that. And to expand on that, accommodations are not like retroactive, right? So
Right.
if you work with Cole midway through the semester for a mitigating circumstance that has been ongoing throughout the semester, but you hadn't reached out to Cole and been going through the process until midway of the semester, your accommodations would only apply to the mid part of the semester moving forward. So as Judy is saying, it's better to get this in sooner than later. There may be additional documentation that you need to acquire from your doctor, and just being prepared, knowing what assistance and help you can get, and how to prepare yourself for everything else in between could be very, very important. So I've entered into the main chat everybody's email, Tony's, Judy's, Cole's, and I'm going to punch in Michael Elko's as well for the tutoring center here in a second. And the last person I want to mention in the Center for Student Success is Hannah Colbert. She is the Director of Student Intervention. And this is such an amazing position to have at the university. She's basically somebody who oversees all students and helps all students problem solve different things in their life that are preventing them from being successful in the classroom and in life. There's really no bounds to where Hannah's purview, I think, kind of goes. I feel like she basically can, at least have conversations and try to help with an endless amount of adversities that people may face. You'll be hearing from Hannah from time to time as well as friendly check-ins, maybe around the midterm timeframe. Maybe instructors are indicating that you're not performing to the ability that they believe you're capable of. You might hear from Hannah to check in and see if there's something that we could do to help you. We all want you to be successful. We all want you to flourish. And you're going to feel that love and support from Hannah, the tutoring center, Cole with accessibility, and all of the success coordinators in the Center for Student Success. So friends, I think that I covered a lot with what CSS is. Did I miss anything do you think we need to mention before we start to transition into our Q&A portion?
I think you did wonderfully.
I agree.
It's like I never left CSS. It's like I'm still there.
Yes, and we miss you so much.
I miss you guys too, but clearly I can't get away from you. So we're still here. So, all right, at this point, we're going to start to transition from the informational portion to the Q&A. And don't think that this is the end of information that you're going to be getting from your success coordinators or from the Center for Student Success. You're going to be hearing from them a lot leading up to the start of the semester, and certainly throughout. You'll see a lot of them at Pioneer Experience, which is the orientation for freshmen. So get used to seeing these faces. Get ready to acquire more resources, support, and information from them. But at this point, we definitely want to jump to what questions you may have. So here's how we play this game. Basically, in the GoToWebinar control panel that you should see on your screen, there is a questions tab that you can click on and open it up. In that area, you could type a question. I will be the one to review it and to moderate it out to Tony and Judy to respond. You will not be, I won't identify you whatsoever. So feel free to just kind of ask what you feel is necessary, and we'll go from there. So start asking those questions. I think we have a few in here, so we're going to start things going, but just pile them ahead as you see fit. So the very first one is, I do like this question. On the schedules, there's different markers for the days of the week. So a question has come in, does TH mean Thursday only when you see that on your schedule?
No, it means Tuesday and Thursday. Go to school on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think a lot of us on the webinar here, we all, I think, teach classes,
Yes.
and every first week of class on a Tuesday, I feel like the class is half empty because, and then on Thursday it's like full and everyone's like, what the heck happened on Tuesday, right? So when in doubt though, reach out to your success coordinator and ask for these clarifications. You're going to see a lot of symbols on your schedule, from days of the week to building names. So like AH would be Academic Hall, WP would be West Penn. You're going to see a lot of those things. Don't feel like a question is too silly or common sense to ask, because trust me, we all have to be reminded of these things. We forget them, and we want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the information that you're being given. So thank you for that question. Next, is there parking for students? This is like the age-old question. Friends, do we have parking for students?
We do not.
We do not.
We do not.
Now,
Though there are lots and parking garages, right around the school. So I would suggest looking into that if you're going to be driving. If you're a commuter and you're going to be driving back and forth, you might want to check that out. There's over there in not Market Square. What am I, across the bridge? Station Square. There are lots over there, and they're a little more reasonably priced. Of course, the bridge gets cold in the wintertime, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
am somebody who parks over at Station Square. I pay $8 a day, and the walk is nice right now, but I absolutely hate it in the winter. But it's a lot better than spending $20
Yes.
over in the city. So just a little walk over a brisk bridge can be a difference of some dollar bills there for sure.
Yes.
And here's something else to consider when it comes to parking. As Judy mentioned, there is parking. It's just not owned by the university. So you will find parking lots and garages nearby campus for sure, but then there's always a lot of public transportation. And coming into the fall is a new program for all undergraduate students, both residential and commuter. It's called the UPass program, where Pittsburgh buses in the city limits, and there will be a map that kind of discloses a little bit more of what that boundary is. But Point Park students will be able to ride those buses for free. You have to download an app. It's called Ready to Ride, and register an account. And as the semester starts, you'll get information on how to use it and when you can begin using it. So there's definitely options in that regard, whether it's finding different places to park or using public transportation to move things forward. Another question that has come in is, where can I find my schedule? That's a great question.
I believe that we all sent out emails outlining how to get to your schedule, but schedules are available in Point Web. So, and we sent instructions as far as how to access Point Web. Now, if you're having difficulties, I don't know, password difficulties or emails or whatever, I'm going to kind of suggest that you reach out to the IT department. What do you say, Tony? Do you think that that's correct?
Yes, and then once what you want to do is you get your Point Park email, and usually your login and your password gets you into Point Web. When you click on Point Web and you log in, you can go to, you'll see the tabs up at the top. You click on students, and on the left-hand side, you'll see courses. I believe it says courses, and when you click, a little arrow will pop up, and you'll see different categories you can choose from, and it will say schedule. So, the one thing that you want to get familiar with is Point Web, and make sure you have a login. And when you go under that students tab, you play around a little bit, and you will be able to find your schedule that way.
We create your first schedule for you. So everybody, all new people coming in, will have a schedule created for you. But going forward, we want you to start working on that yourself and making your own schedule. So the sooner you're comfortable, what am I trying to say? The sooner you're comfortable with Point Web, the better, because that's where you find all of that. That's where tuition information is too, right? And you can pay your bill on there, or at least find out information about your bill. So Point Web is kind of important. So if you're having issues, please let either me or Tony or whoever your advisor is, please let us know and we'll try to help the best we can.
Now,
Yes, it always, oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to mention real quick too. You also have that drop add period, which is usually like the first 2 weeks of the beginning of the school year. And if there's a problem with one of your classes timing wise, you have time to change your schedule, whether to add a class, drop a class, switch a class. But it has to be before that drop add period ends.
I've dropped this year. It's always like the day after Labor Day, I believe, because we're off on that Monday. And so that Tuesday is the last day to add drop. So we're going to ask you as first semester students to at least let us know, reach out and say, oh, gee, you know, my job, the hours got changed and now this class isn't working. Let us help you with that. And then going forward, then of course we want you to get a little more comfortable doing it yourself. We don't want you to make a mistake and add something that maybe you don't need or that isn't appropriate for a first semester student.
and you know, I think it's important to reiterate that especially this first schedule coming in, especially as a freshman, and even for any transfers too, it's quite intentional. There's a course sequence that every major has. It's kind of their contract to you as a student that these classes will be offered during these semesters, and if you follow this plan, you are going to graduate in 4 years. It's basically a contract for that. So of course it won't always work out so perfect like that, but the goal is to try to stick to that as close as possible to just make sure that there are no concerns as you travel down the education here at Point Park. But on the topic of adding and dropping classes and things like that, at the end of the day, guys, if there's an incoming freshman or even a transfer before classes start and they want to change a section or maybe look into changing a class, how do they go about that? Like, what is your preference? How would they accomplish that task?
I prefer just to email me right away. You know, like I said, say your job, you have a job and they change your hours and now this isn't going to work. Please email me right away and we'll get that changed for you. The one thing about the longer you wait, the more classes are filling up. So, and I want my students to get what they want. So, sorry, Tony, but you know, I want my SAM students to get what they want. So email me right away and we'll nip this right in the bud. That's how I handle it. Tony?
Yes, and I'm the same way. You once you email me and saying you need a change, we get the paperwork ready for you. And basically you don't have to do anything. We just get your approval and we send it out to the registrars and student accounts and get things situated for you quickly.
And while it's on the top of my mind here, I want to make a separation or a clarification, I guess, between your student success coordinator and your faculty advisor. So you're going to see that you're going to be getting assigned a faculty advisor. And there is a there's two different people here, and they really have two different roles. While they are all going to be supportive, you know, you're starting to learn what your success coordinator is going to do for you, which is a lot of, you know, maybe like back end stuff with scheduling and different, you know, changes of majors and stuff like that, and just overall support. The faculty advisor is a really good resource to help you understand a little bit more about how the curriculum applies to your career, about how important it is to the major that you're in. They're going to be individuals that are connected in the industry. A lot of our instructors are currently
Yes.
or have previously worked in these industries, which is what sets our faculty at such a high standard. So they're going to be great resources just to get networking and insight into the industry. And I remember being in my undergrad, which was applied communication, and feeling a lot of disconnect with what I was learning and how it would be applied into a career. And faculty advisors really help bridge that gap for you. So you're going to see different people listed in Point Web as your advisors and success coordinators. So reach out to them and lean into them to help you in every way possible. So we're at 6:30 right now. We're making good time here. We've gotten through a lot of our questions. I think we have a few more left. So I just want to send a couple reminders out as we trail into the back end of these questions that are here for us. First of all, if you want to add a question, we encourage you to do so. Just go into the questions portion of the control panel, type in your question, and I will put it out to the panelists to respond to. There's also going to be a survey that pops up at the end of this webinar. There's only 3 questions in this survey. One of them is going to give you the ability to ask another question to us. So maybe you don't feel comfortable asking your question live in this webinar, more than fine. If you want to do it in a more intimate, private way, then certainly leave it in the survey, and one of us here at Point Park in the Center for Student Success will respond with some answers. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into a few more questions here. Friends, how does a student get a minor?
I think that's a great question because so many of our majors have an electives area, okay, and which is a required, they're required. And so what a lot of students do is declare a minor, and the minor classes can count both for the minor and for the electives. So it's a great way to utilize your space, and it's very easy to do a minor. I mean, if you're interested in something, then you can, of course, talk to one of us. We'll talk to you about the different classes, the different requirements. And then, like most things here, there's a form, and you would fill out, complete the form, and we would get approval. And that's it. You would just take and pass the classes, and it does appear on your diploma. So I think that's wonderful. I think it just makes you just a little more valuable. And there's lots of different ways to combine things. For SAEM, we've had people, lots of folks do an SAEM major, and then they'll do a business management minor. We've had people do SAEM major and a psychology minor, which is a real interesting combination. So keep those sorts of things in mind. I mean, capitalize on your on the classes. Anything between 12 and 18 credits is considered full-time. We normally schedule about 15 credits a semester to get you through. But you can get a minor just by taking an extra class every semester. It doesn't cost anything extra. It's not going to take any more time. So why not do it? Okay.
And yeah, and I know in the business field, it kind of goes hand in hand. A lot of like a marketing and sales major, minor in business. And it's very simple. If you need to see what the qualifications are, and this is one of the things that I always teach in University 101, and it sounds silly, but if you go to our main webpage of Point Park, and you'll see the little white box on the bottom left, it says search, okay? And you're thinking about getting a business minor. You can type in business minor, hit enter, and you'll see a bunch of tabs pop up. You click on it, and it'll describe what you need to get that minor in business. So, you know, it's the same thing with the academic calendar. If you're worried about, boy, I'm not sure when drop ad is or anything like that, and you're not sure where to access to the academic calendar, same thing. You can go to that little white search bar, type in academic calendar, hit enter, and you know, you'll have things to choose from that'll show you what our academic calendar is running through the year. So make sure you utilize that search bar.
Good idea, Tony.
Now, something else I want to add to that as well. I teach a career prep class in the School of Business, and conversations that I have with students a lot, concerns that I hear from students a lot as they are in the back end of their degree and getting ready to jump from being in college and heading into their career, is how to make their resume look a little bit different from others, how to stand out from others. How do you fill that white space, that daunting white space that's on your resume early on in your career? And really, an easy way to do that is to get a minor, right? That's an extra line on the resume. It's an extra notch in the buckle or the belt or whatever the saying is. It's also another talking point in an interview, right? So you could talk about the major and the classes that you took, and then really start to define yourself on why you really narrowed in on something specific. So there's a lot of value to it. And kind of bouncing off of what Judy had said, it's not like you're double majoring and really adding all this extra weight and time suck onto what you're doing. You can really build in what you're doing in a minor and it not feel like you're taking on a minor. You know what I mean? Like it's really not as burdensome as you might think. And there's a lot of programs too at the school that are so harmonious together. There's a lot of overlap that you can kind of kill two birds with one stone
Right.
and knock out some classes even before you elect a minor. So it's definitely worth looking at and seeing, hey, I've taken 2 out of 5 or 6 classes required in an accounting minor. Is this an area that I could find some interest in? If so, maybe it's worth adding on that minor if you've already knocked out 2 of the classes from taking them in your major anyways. So definitely a lot of value there. Looking at our questions, I believe we have 1, maybe 2 more left in here. So I'm going to give a final call for anybody who wants to pop a question, and we'll answer these last ones. But if you have anything else on your mind, now is the time. It's the final countdown. Do 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 do. So a question that came in: are there any study abroad options? I'll jump and start with this just because I'm a little close to the study abroad office, but and Tony and Judy, if you want to add in it all. So basically, there are a lot of study abroad options. There is in the student life office, Desmond McCoy is the director of student life. He is also in charge of commuter resources. So for those who might want to look into getting the UPass or be part of the UPass program, Desmond's your person. For those who want to study abroad, I'd say Desmond is a really good person to start with. However, I don't think that Desmond's the end all be all when it comes to study abroad either. Because, and Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, and Judy too, like even like the School of Business has their own study abroad options at times that are a little bit separate from the study abroad department. So I know like the School of Communication has opportunities like that as well. So really it's a matter of working with Desmond in the student life office, working with your faculty members to see if there's anything interesting coming down the pipeline. So definitely some options. But Tony, Judy, what else do you have to add about that?
I always, oh, Tony, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, go ahead, Judy. That's okay.
I always like students to let me know that they're interested in that, study abroad, so that an earlier is better than later, just so that we can save space in the degree requirement, in the sequencing for some of the classes that you might be interested in taking while you're studying abroad, because it's not always, like in a very equal, like this class will equal this class, but almost anything can come in as an elective. So, maybe save some elective space for those study abroad classes. So just start thinking, this is so much for first semester freshmen, I know, to be thinking, we're throwing a lot of information out there, but just be thinking about these different things and just be as thoughtful as you can about your plan so that we can utilize your space the best way. Go ahead, Tony, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, in fact, I think I have 4 or 5 students, couple in the summer and I think 3 in the fall that are going to be studying abroad. And as Angelo said, you want to deal with Desmond. And then what happens is you'll get your list of courses that, the school that you might want to attend abroad will offer. And you send that over, hey, I would like to maybe take this course, this course, this course. And what we do is we go to the faculty reps and say, hey, would this be, and can we use this to replace Business Management 201, for example? And they kind of make the final say so on that. So yeah, it's a great opportunity if you can do it. And it's just it's a teamwork effort to, make sure you're staying on path with your schedule and not going over there and taking something that doesn't transfer over or coming back. We want to make sure that those classes are used towards your degree.
And even one other additional thing to add to this, I know it's not really studying abroad, but at least whenever I was in CSS, I know the School of Business had like this it was like a special topics, but it was like a Walt Disney thing where they the class revolved around like the business operations of Disney, which I mean that is a complex system of operations from guest services to HR. I mean they Disney houses basically every industry within its industry, you know. And so I don't know if that class still exists. I would assume it does, but they focus on all the operations of Disney. And then I do believe it may only run in the fall, and I think they go around the Thanksgiving timeframe, not over the holiday, but around that time frame. So maybe you're somebody that wants to, you know, gain some experience outside of the city of Pittsburgh and Point Park, but you don't necessarily want to go completely abroad and take all of your classes in another country. There's other opportunities within individual classes to really kind of see the world and see things from a different perspective. So definitely something to keep in mind as you start to head closer to being here in the community with us at Point Park. So I believe that we have made it through all the questions, and they were great questions indeed. So I want to thank everybody for submitting them. I'm going to give a last call on questions, but as we give that last call, I do just want to go back around with the panel to just kind of give some final thoughts, maybe any words of wisdom as you all start to get ready to join Point Park. So Judy, any final thoughts or words of wisdom? Did you say 35 years at Point Park?
Yes, I did, Angelo.
Amazing. I love
I
that.
started when I was a child.
I figured it. Yep.
I would just like to say that we're just so pleased that you're here with us, and that we're so looking forward to you starting with us in the fall. The thing I really want to emphasize is, please don't wait. If you have questions, please reach out to us as soon as you can. You know, we're so happy to help. So good luck and welcome, and yay.
Tony, how about you?
Like Judy said, we're so excited for you to be coming to Point Park. It's such a unique place. It's such a great place. The one thing I will say, all you business majors out there, whether you do it for credit or you don't do it for credit, you have to do an internship to get somewhere. And you are coming to the capital of internship university. We have so many opportunities. So take advantage of it. And it's nothing but a resume builder. You're around so many great businesses within the local area. Pittsburgh's such a great place. Take advantage of it while you're here.
I love the advice from both Judy and Tony, and I want to thank Judy and Tony for being here. I want to thank everybody who attended, everybody who submitted questions. One final reminder, there will be a survey when you log off. Please consider completing it. 3 questions only. One of them will allow you to ask us a question outside of the webinar, and we will respond to it. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your summer. It's starting to go by a little quickly. I can't believe that we're at the back end of June. August the 28th, I think, is the first day of class, and it's going to be here before you know it. If you need us, reach out. My office is on the 7th floor of the Student Center. Otherwise, enjoy your summer, and we'll see you around Point Park in the fall. Thanks, everybody, and we love you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.